Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and we have some interesting news about a former Tampa Bay Buccaneer, a former NFC South wide receiver just as a whole. As I've done in other videos, I talk about players who formerly played for the Bucs last season, who go off to go and sign with other teams, and this one's no different as Russell Gage has signed with the Baltimore Ravens. He was with them on practice for Tuesday, so he's already practicing with the Baltimore Ravens, and he's going to try and get going here with the Ravens going forward with his career. And, man, I wish nothing but the best for Russell Gage. It was such a darn shame that things did not work out for Gage with the Bucs. I think that he would still be with the Buccaneers today, and really it could have changed the entire dynamic of the wide receiver room if Gage was still healthy and producing here in Tampa Bay. Would you still have Jalen McMillan? Would you have Trey Palmer in a high-end role? I don't know. I don't think so. And a lot of that, those types of things happened because Gage had suffered a lot of injuries throughout his time with Tampa Bay. It's important to note that, Gage, whenever he first came to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he was coming off of a stint with the Atlanta Falcons. That's the team that drafted him in the 6th round of the 2018 NFL draft. He came out of a very good school for wide receivers in LSU. And look, he put up some numbers the past couple of years in Atlanta. In 2020, 786 yards, 4 touchdowns. 2021, 770 yards, 4 touchdowns. His first year in Tampa Bay wasn't great, but I don't think it was terrible. It was the last year of Tom Brady, 426 receiving yards, 5 touchdowns, which was the most touchdowns he had ever had in his career, had played in 13 games, but really that 2022 season, his first season in Tampa Bay, was where you started to see these injury problems, things that Gage had not had in his career up to this point, begin to become a bit of an issue. He had signed a 3-year, $30 million deal with the Bucs. Big money, right? You bring him in as your third wide receiver. I was very excited about the trio of Evans, Godwin, and Gage. He spent 5 weeks on the injured reserve in 2022. He basically, what happened was on January 16, 2023, suffered a neck injury in a wild card game against the Dallas Cowboys, was carted off the field. He had suffered a concussion from the contact, was being evaluated at a local hospital. He had movement in all of his extremities, right? He would remain hospitalized for more testing. Afterwards, he was released by the hospital the next day. In the 2023 training camp, you then had a situation where he suffered a torn patellar tendon and was placed on the injured reserve in August 21st of 2023. He didn't play a single game in 2023. So you look at it like this. He signs with the team, 3-year deal, $30 million, spends 5 weeks on the injured reserve at some point during that 2022 season, plays 13 games out of that season because he was placed on the injured reserve. I believe it was whatever it may be. It was some type of injury that placed him on the injured reserve. He then had that really bad concussion injury in that playoff loss to the Cowboys, which was super unfortunate as well. And then he never played for the Bucs in 2023. He was placed on the injured reserve, never even saw a snap, and then he was released this offseason by the Bucs. So again, I say all of that to say this. Look, I hope he gets going with the Baltimore Ravens. I hope that he really returns to form. It's not really an offense that passes a lot. Maybe that will change somewhere down the line, and you can imagine that Gage will be a guy who is probably going to be buried on the depth chart at this point. Again, you're coming into a situation where you're in the middle of training camp. Depth charts are coming out. Guys are establishing roles for themselves, and now you make a signing here. It was interesting when I saw that Gage signed with the Ravens. The first thought I had was, and maybe this is just the biased, person in me, but I wonder if Gage goes out there, he showcases that he was able to return from his torn patellar tendon. He showcases some good ability. He still shows that he's got some juice in the tank at only 28 years old. Maybe he doesn't make the Ravens roster. Do the Bucs consider bringing him back? I don't know. I don't know. I think that would be an interesting question. And something that I would be cool with, even if it's something where Gage is on the practice squad. Maybe that's something where he will be at this point in his career, right? Coming off of a couple of major injuries in 2022 and 2023. Maybe that's what teams view him as a practice squad guy that'll eventually get promoted or elevated to an active roster. Could the Bucs be that team where it's like, hey, Gage, we heard you're healthy. We heard you're doing good with the Baltimore Ravens. We'd love to have you back, have you on the practice squad, another veteran wide receiver, very similar to like a Sterling Shepard type of role, right? Just have another veteran in the room and an insurance policy, right? Somebody who is familiar with the organization, familiar with Jason Light, not really familiar with Baker Mayfield because they didn't get to play together, but familiar with the wide receivers in that room and Evans, Godwin, heck, even a little bit of like Raheem Jarrett in there. It would be an interesting consideration, in my opinion. It would be. I want to see him succeed. I want to see him do well. You always hate to see guys get hurt and go down with injuries. It's never a fun thing to see. So I'm hoping that Gage can get going. And kind of revive his career a little bit here at the age of 28 years old. He got dealt a bad hand in Tampa Bay just in terms of injuries. Again, just bad luck. Again, he had never suffered any major injuries throughout his first 4 years in the league with the Atlanta Falcons. And then you get a situation here where he literally is knocked out for about a year and a half in Tampa Bay. It sucks, man, and it's definitely a what if, right? Not like the biggest what if in the world, but you do have to kind of sit there and speculate as to what could have been with Gage with the Bucs if he had remained healthy. Heck, even during that entire 2022 season, if he had remained healthy, would the Bucs offense have been better? Would Baker Mayfield have thrived even more with Gage being that number 3 wide receiver? I remember like Dave Canales had spoke about it last year, and was like, saying like, that's a really bad loss for this offense. We were really excited to use Gage as the wide receiver 3. And then you saw a rotating cast of like Trey Palmer, Raheem Jarrett, Devin Tompkins, all these guys, be in rotation for that wide receiver 3 spot because they lost that sure thing in Gage. So, man, I want to see Gage do well. I want to see him succeed. I want to see him get an opportunity here with the Ravens and, hey, maybe come back to the Bucs if maybe he doesn't make the Ravens roster. The Bucs say, hey, man, you're healthy. Let's get you on that practice squad. It'd be fun. So, what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts and opinions. By the way, if you guys are new, go ahead and subscribe. We are on the road to 20,000 subscribers, as you guys can see in the little tracker here. We're about to hit 19,500. It's been really awesome to see all you guys subscribe recently to the channel. It's been greatly appreciated, and obviously we're getting ramped up for the regular season, and it's going to be a lot of fun in that mix as well. So let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions about just the Gage saga, how it worked in Tampa Bay. Were you disappointed by Russell Gage's time? Is it because of the player himself? Is it because of all the injury problems that he had sustained? I would love to get, your guys' thoughts and opinions on this. How do you think he's going to do with the Baltimore Ravens? Would you like to see him back in Tampa Bay? If Gage doesn't make the Ravens' final roster, the Bucs have been pretty good in getting some capable veterans in the past, at least the past couple of years, maybe not so much the past couple of years whenever Jason Light first came in, of just finding kind of gems in the rough, right? Like, remember Kevin Minter, remember Carl Nassib, like guys who had impact on the Bucs for a couple of years. Those guys were like waiver claims and late additions to the team before the regular season or even during the regular season. I wonder if Gage could have similar type of resurgence coming back to an old team of his. And also, like, the Bucs aren't afraid to bring back wide receivers back into the mix as well. They did a very similar thing with Brashad Perriman. A lot of people forget him. He was like a hero of the Buffalo Bills game. So, like, the Bucs aren't afraid to bring back former guys if it makes sense. And I think it would be fun. Could definitely make some sense. And I think would just be an enjoyable, fun story, right? To maybe see Gage actually get a fair shake. He had a little bit of chemistry with Baker Mayfield. They'd spent some time together. And I just want to, see Gage not get hurt, man. That's all I want to see. But again, guys, let me know your thoughts and opinions. I would love to hear them. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. As always, guys, I will see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.